Feels a little bit weird to be talking to you, talking to the camera, but, you know, talking to you. It's been a bit of a stormy sea, shall we say. My boat's been doing a bit of this. I think that's another reason why I've stepped away from vlogging as well. I can't find my baby! So I've made a bit of a boob.
I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. I think it's very important to spend time alone. We need to learn how to be alone and not be defined by anybody or anything else going on around us. But I still do remember in my younger days and my childhood how the feeling of being alone was a really painful one. I think I've mentioned a couple of times in here now that James has been working away quite a lot recently. And so he's basically away in the week and then we have weekends together. And I think I've also mentioned how I've been feeling lonely. It's really apparent, isn't it, especially at this time of year, that there's a real pressure to have a good time. And I think that's magnified my feelings.
Oh, so I've made a bit of a boob because I've left my bag over this gate where we were like doing some filming, and James has gone back for it because I'm really forgetful. But yeah, it really is a case of I would forget my head if it was loose. So what happened?
You left the bag on the gate.
Somebody.
And spending time on my own has given me the chance to really ponder deeply on life, loss, loneliness, and love.
Wonderfully great oak leaf.
Massive. Colours on that.
Amazing colours. It's raining now.
Sweet potato mash, garlic, chilli, tender stem broccoli with grilled cheddar,
Where have you been?
Home.
Around the world?
Yeah.
And aye.
I can't find my baby.
So while it may not seem that much of a big deal that James is working away, it kind of feels like it is, because mostly my life is just me and him. And we have naturally grown into this pattern ever since we sold our house and ran away in our van 10 years or so ago now. I don't often see my family, so mostly they live really far away from me. And isn't it funny as well how friends we've had in the past often seem long lost? We kind of need to be in each other's vicinities, don't we? Or we so easily lose touch. Life gets hectic, happy and sad, people change, we naturally move apart.
Got mint in it.
Is it?
This is my podcast seat. It's a perfect seat. Come and check it, Bubba.
Come on, get sensible now. I'm not going to put that on.
I can't do it today.
Cam.
Room watch. Uno little fairy blue one. Trying to film today. Can't seem to do it.
What a beauty. Are you a beauty? Oh, you are a beauty, aren't you? Hello, look at your eyes. Green eyes. Scratch my bum, scratch my bum.
Many people talk about the loneliness of the creative process. Nikola Tesla said, "Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born." I think creativity can be lonely, but I think for me, it's just more of a private thing, where I just need my art studio sanctuary, a room of my own, just to create. And sometimes that safe space hasn't been a complete room, it's been a tiny cardboard box that lived underneath my bed when we lived in a van. So when I say room, I mean it's more of an undefined space. I remember vividly moving cities in my teen years. It was traumatic. I had few friends as it was, due to me being a little bit of an oddity to most of my peers. But at that time I lost the ones I did have. We wrote letters for a while until it felt like we were in different worlds, and too much of an effort into an irrelevance to do it anymore. One or two kept contact for the longest, and indeed my oldest friend was one of them. But I sadly lost her a few years ago now. She's definitely one of my guardian angels though, for sure. I have a very special place in my heart for the two best friends that took me in once I arrived at my new school. And we became a really functional and happy threesome. I'd never experienced that before, nor since. A miracle I didn't even see in my teaching days, so I'm presuming is a special rarity. Those two are still besties today, and always warmly welcome any contact, or on the rare occasions that we do see each other, which is another casualty of geography.
So I've just stopped somewhere that I've always wanted to have a little hike up there, and I'll show you. But I just needed to stop for a little coffee break. So I got a bit lost in retail land, have to admit, trying to get some little bits and bobs. I don't buy a load of Christmas presents, but I have a little thing that I get my little one. She's not so little anymore, she's a grown-up baby daughter, but yeah, there is a couple of things that I get. So one of those things where I'm sat in the car park before I hike up the hill, and it's quite a big car park actually, and I've got a car pulled up right next to me. There's no other cars in the car park, and then another car pulls up the other side. So yeah, if I'd have parked over there, they'd have done the same. So it's one of those things. We used to get that a lot when we lived in a van, where you'd pull up to a stop and you'd have, yeah, all the whole space to yourself, and then it would be completely empty apart from you, and then someone else would pull up, and instead of sort of spacing out, they'd just, park right next to you. Anyway, this coffee is so good that I don't really mind. Both vehicles are the same family, I think, because I'm literally surrounded by dogs, kids and other folk. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to take you up this little hill and show you what's on the top, because it's really, really pretty.
I always secretly wanted a best friend, but it's never happened for me, and I always felt like such a failure for it. Until I realised not everyone experiences it, and not to judge myself so harshly anymore because of it. I lived next door to a friend at 7 years old, and we were on and off friends for life. That's the closest I got, but she was the one I lost a few years ago now.
But isn't this pretty?
Over the years and into adulthood, I've moved away from familiar locations as I didn't feel home there. In truth, I'm probably still seeking home, but that's another story. I'm more of an introvert these days. The older I get, with menopause, hormonal changes, the world and its weird times. I'm also a busy bee running my art business, and I love my work so much and love spending my time doing it. I also really enjoy spending time alone these days, especially as part of my creative process, which is a lot broader than simply the act of making art.
I've just been thinking about my brother. We lost my brother, really sad, a few years ago now, and he was number 2. There's 6 of us and I'm number 5. So he was a little bit older than me, but he was a photographer. He would never ever believe that I've picked up a camera and I'm learning how to use a camera and things like that. So I'm all on my own up here and it's quite a spiritual spot, and so I've been thinking about a few things, like you do, you know, and obviously I've been spending quite a lot of time on my own these past few months because of James's work. He goes away for most of the week and then he's back late towards the end of the week. Not that it's a huge hardship, obviously I miss him, but at the same time, you know, I'm fine. But it has given me that extra alone time. And guess what? I'm so lucky to have this space all on my own right now. It's really, really cold up here. And literally James took me out yesterday to get me a proper coat, because I've been managing with 2 coats actually. One coat that I bought from a charity shop when we stopped a van life because I needed a more chunky coat because of the UK weather, and another one that I bought I think 2 years ago from eBay, and they weren't really very warm. And I want to come out filming. It's like being in a sleeping bag basically. So I'm loving that. Was really pretty. So I didn't exactly have the right shoes on there, a little bit slippy, but I made it and I didn't fall on my bum, so that was really good. Yeah, it's a bonus. Okay, I'm not sure where we're going to go next. I might go to the studio or I might go home, and I'm going to decide while I drive, I think.
Another aspect to my very minimal friendships is the truth and realisation of late that the world of technology has changed everything, and the online community does tick a lot of friendship boxes. I do of course also strongly believe we need human face-to-face connections. Just think of all the lockdown days. We should definitely nurture our relationships and cherish each other. And I know it's definitely not the same, nor as close or in the flesh as it were. But I do think we need to acknowledge that it is a form of communication and connection. And so, for example, all of you in this little corner of the internet is a true blessing for me indeed. I'm not saying everything about the online world is perfect, far from it, but then what in life is? You know, I've mentioned in here a few times now about feeling like a misfit all my life. And it wasn't really until connecting with so many other souls out there in the online world that I actually realised that I really, really wasn't the only one, and there were a lot of us out there who felt like this. And back in my younger days, I really minded feeling that way. And I tried within my practical and physical constraints to fit in, even though I knew I never could. I also didn't realise back then that I am rather socially awkward in an inconsistent basis, which is perhaps a bit quirky for such a chatterbox that I am as well. But now I'm in my 50s, in my ever-growing wisdom, I realise firstly that this is absolutely okay and acceptable, and secondly, it is all because of my energy levels and the energy of others. That's the part I'm sensitive to.
It's really nice to talk to you because I haven't talked to you for a few weeks, and just noticing that the lens is a bit dusty, so sorry about that. It's because I took my camera out and about and I've been practicing with it a little bit. Anyway, I thought I would sit down with you and have a little hot drink with you this morning. We need to keep cosy because it's really cold here. I'm managing to keep warm in this room though because, yeah, that radiator is on. Got bright blue sky this morning, so in a way I'd kind of like it to have snowed. It snowed a little bit here, but it doesn't snow here very often. Maybe I need to move somewhere else. So I've been really quiet on the socials this week. So I guess there's quite a lot to catch up on actually. It feels a little bit weird to be talking to you, talking to the camera, but you know, talking to you because I haven't done it for ages, so it feels a bit weird. Because I've been busy working on the journaling video that you may have seen. And also we did a book video last week, so no vloggies for a little while. So I thought we'd better catch up. And also we can keep each other company if anybody is feeling a little bit lost or lonely in the holiday period, because it can be a really sociable time and family orientated and all that good stuff. But it also can be a really lonely time, whether or not you're with people, you know, or you're on your own. So it's, yeah, one of those strange times of the year, isn't it, which can be a little bit challenging to navigate our way through, yeah, for some of us. And I'm a little bit lost and alone at the moment because James has been away, but I am a little bit left to my own devices and a little bit wobbly on some days. And in actual fact, yesterday, to be really honest, I did have one of those wobbly days. So I stayed in bed most of the day and hid away, and it was good, really good. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you do that, if you give yourself permission to just stay home, stay snuggled, in bed if that's where you want to be as well, which is one of my favourite places to be when I'm at home. And so, yeah, do you allow yourself to do that? I think if something's going to do you good, I think we need to give ourselves permission to do it, don't we? Even if it's a little bit out of our kind of a normal day. Because ideally yesterday, I should have been in the studio. I've got 1,001 things that I need to do, 1,001 things that I'd like to do as well. So it wasn't the most ideal thing yesterday. I'll hold my hands up to that. It was what I needed to do. So, got to practice what we preach, she says, talking to herself. It's no good me coming on here and telling you off for not looking after yourself if I'm not doing it myself, is it? Yes. And today I'm going to finish Grace, and I'm also going to work on this one. So this is Grace, and if you haven't seen Grace before, let's just tuck my hair in because I've got a bit of bed hair this morning. And yeah, this is the one I'm going to work on.
I think I can't talk about friendships as well without the mention of the plant babies and the tree friends. There are a wide variety of friends and types of friendships, and I appreciate each type and the special timings of each one too, past, present and future. This includes a future pet or two because this is definitely on my wish list once we move somewhere with a garden. I think what I'm trying to say is that there's lots of ways to find your tribe and kindred spirits. And of course we can experience extreme loneliness in a crowded room if it's the wrong kind of crowd for us. And spending social time with people we may consider more acquaintances rather than friends is deeply fulfilling too, and a lot of fun. I really appreciate my undeep but deeply authentic relationships. Do you know what I mean? In some wonderfully special cases, neither geography nor regular catch-ups matter though. We hopefully have some friends or family like that. In actual fact, James was a friend like this to me for many years, before we actually got together as a couple. And I do have some friends here locally, but so much has changed since the first lockdown, and I don't socialise nearly as much as I used to. And if I'm really honest, I'm also just not very good at keeping in touch with people either. Once I opened up to this wider community here on the YouTube, I also realised I was not alone in my thinking or experiences, and nor do I believe are you. I think creating spaces and emptiness in our days, and not just filling everything up with people and friendships for the sake of it, but waiting to see what things we fill those spaces with when we truly have time to breathe. And then we come back to spending time with ourselves as well, finding the treasure within that and becoming our own best friend, which has taken me on a vast quest of radical self-acceptance over the years.
To see this year Santa Claus is coming home to me. Yeah, this year Santa Claus is coming home to me.
And a few people have asked me about where the paper dolls are. The paper dolls are in the art journaling tier. So that's the pockets, the £5 a month pockets tier. That is on the Patreon. There they are on the wall, keeping me company. And after having a play with some markers, which I got, which type are they? Let's see. They are, I don't know what they are, Montmartre. I've never heard of the make before, but it's something, you know, when you go to TK Maxx. Is it TK Maxx in the US? I think it's something else in the US. Is it TJ Maxx? But that kind of shop anyway, a really big shop with random and a little bit of everything. After playing with these, I realised at the minute this is Blue Fairy, because she hasn't told me her name yet, but I'm sure she will, all in good time of course. With the marker pens, I think I'm just going for something a little bit more subtle with these, because this was really strong. And it's really fun of course to play around with different art supplies, but yeah, I'm going in a little bit softer. And I don't know who she is yet either. Because she hasn't told me either. I think before I go any further with this video as well, I'd like to say something really important, and that is a big thank you for all the comments on the last couple of videos, because especially the art journaling video, the journaling I did a couple of weeks ago, and I called it the best ever guide to journaling. So I was maybe being a bit big-headed about the title of the video, but it did feel pretty epic. Anyway, I always get absolutely lovely comments, amazing comments, heartwarming comments that I can't thank you enough for, and that is why I keep doing the YouTube, because of this community. It's the best community on here as far as I'm concerned, in our little own corner of YouTube, a very special place. And the comments you leave to each other and the comments you leave for me are completely unbelievable, so absolutely love them. And I wake up in the morning and I, you know, make myself a hot drink, and I often dip into the comments and I try and answer as many as I can, but I do read them, or I leave a little heart on them. Sometimes I even make notes from them for a little heads up, or if I'm going to make a video about something and then someone makes a really good point about something, I'll make a little note that I can mention in that video when I make it, and things like that. So it all goes round in a circle of energy and love, and yeah, it's the best. So I just wanted to say a really big thank you for those, especially all the comments I've had in 2022 for this year, because we're coming to the end of the year now, aren't we? I kind of feel like it's not the end of the year. I always feel, and I don't know whether it's because my birthday's in April and James's birthday is in April as well, but I always kind of feel that around spring, that's where it feels kind of New Year-y for me. So maybe that's a little bit more Chinese New Year. Maybe I'm in that kind of calendar, I don't know, but it doesn't really feel like the end of the year to me, if that sounds a bit weird, I don't know. But it's like, because I'm in the midst of winter, it's the dark period of time, obviously in the northern hemisphere, I know. By the time we get to the end of December, I'm feeling like we're sort of getting snug as a bug, if you like, in our winter cocoons, in our hibernation mode. The new year kind of, for me, feels like, you know, when I want to come out of that. So yeah, this whole new year being January the 1st, no, I think I'm going to disregard that this year and wait till spring. Yes, I think that's what I'm going to do. I must mention as well that the shop, my shop, is having a sale until the beginning of January. So it's either the 6th or the 9th, but I'll put it up there for you. and we're having a 20% off sale, and the code is Northern Star, and I'll put all the details down there, so don't miss out on that. And then after the sale, we're going to add some new items to the shop and give the shop a little bit of an update, a little bit of a revamp. I think it needs it, but I haven't had much time to pay attention to the shop, and it's one of the things for me that kind of gets pushed more and more to the bottom of the list. And James does a lot of the shop stuff because he's been busy working away. Neither of us have had a lot of time to put the energy into the shop, so that's what we're hoping to do. It's been going on a couple of weeks, busy packing orders, and I do apologise for our UK post. There's massive delays because of strikes, and I actually have to say I don't blame them for striking, but at the same time it does cause our shop and our customers a little bit of an issue, so I apologise about that in advance. We're doing the best we can. So if you're okay bearing with the English post system for now until it settles down, then there is a sale on, so there we go. And if I don't mention it again, James will tell me off, because he always tells me off and says, you never say press the like, and you never say could you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you never say this and you never say that, and have you mentioned that you're doing this on the Patreon, and blah blah blah. So he will tell me off if I don't mention the shop sale, so there we go. That'll hopefully tick that box, keep him happy. So if you've seen any of my Instagram updates, and also I think I put a community post up in here a couple of weeks ago, you will know that I've had a few illnesses in my family, and it's been quite a tricky few weeks as well to navigate. It's been a bit of a stormy sea, shall we say, and my boat's been doing a bit of this. I think that's another reason why I've stepped away from vlogging as well. So last month there was a carnival that comes to town every year, and I think it was the first one actually since the lockdown, so it was quite an exciting time. And because I don't like crowds at the moment or anymore, I'm not sure what that's about, a little bit about penamors, menopause, and a little bit about post-lockdown kind of situation. Suffice to say, I don't like spending my time in a big crowded situation. So James and I sort of went out early, and we wanted to have a look at the floats, you know, the lorries, and they are spectacular, and it's all a bit surreal and a little bit of a weird atmos, but at the same time it's really exciting as well. So I did take you with me as well.
Are we human? Or are we dancer? On our knees, looking for the answer. Live a life after love.
And I haven't got that much done this afternoon because it was the little get-together of all the people in the building. So we had a little Christmas gathering, which hasn't happened for about 2 or 3 years because of all the stuff that's been going on. So it was a bit special, it was a bit nice. There were quite a few people there. It was nice to catch up because even though we're all in the same building, we don't really see each other that much. We sometimes cross paths on the landing, if you like, but it's yeah, it's nice to just check in that everyone's doing okay. So I've got some kind of sparkly bits, fairy dust. Yes, I haven't done that for a while, but because it was a party, you know, and I haven't got the outfit going on, I thought a bit of glitter would be nice. I wanted to mention that I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A for ages. I can't even remember the last one we did. I don't know if it will be the next video or the one after. If you'd like to ask me something, and I don't mind what you ask me, it can be an arty, crafty, fairies, or personal. All the genres are completely welcome. So if you've got something that you've been a bit curious about, or you wanted to ask, or you're not sure what art supplies I'm using, or that kind of thing, then you can leave all your questions down below, and then I will put them into categories and do some kind of semi-structured Q&A over the holiday period, because I figured that it might be quite nice if some people want something to keep them company over the holiday period. Yes. And yeah, I don't know if there'll be like a vloggy or a video in between, not sure, but we're definitely due a Q&A, so that's what we're going to do. Ask me anything. I don't mind. Ask me anything. Yeah, obviously arty questions are completely welcome. Drawing a fairy or a mermaid, art supplies, personal kind of questions as well. Updates on things like, you know, are we moving and that kind of thing. Things to do with running an art business, that's completely fine as well. I get some questions about that. And marketing, I often get questions about marketing or pricing work. Beauty sometimes. I mean, I'm not beautician or anything like that, or an expert, but I can, you know, share what I do, what I use, what I do, that kind of thing. Talk about hair, bed hair, plait your hair before bed, and then it doesn't tangle, and then when you get up in the morning, tie a big scarf around your head and put earrings in, although I haven't put earrings in today, so I feel a bit naked. Sorry about that. And yes, and always wear thermals underneath your dungies in the winter, especially if your studio's not very warm. Anyway, happy holidays to you, and I love you all to bits. Thank you for all your comments and love and support this year of 2022. There's probably going to be another video before next year, but I'm just saying that here anyway because it's holiday time now, and I feel in that kind of spirit, in the holiday spirit, since we've just had this little party. So I thought I would share that with you as well. Try to keep your lights shining bright, always. And sometimes they're a little bit dull, a little bit like fairy lights, but you know what fairy lights are like, very magical, so don't worry about that. So bye for now, biggest loves, softest hugs, and I will see you really soon in the next one.
To me.
Armed and dangerous.